pronounce Isa's name like that. Your host like that because it sounds so like fucking formal. Okay, wait, hello? Be like, welcome to the What We Don't Know podcast with your hosts, Ollie Evely and Lisa Sabah.
Hey, how's it going?
Short one today.
Yeah. Well, every episode, more or less, I start wondering what we're going to talk about. But I think for once, or for seconds,
You have a plan.
we have a vague plan, I think.
Okay.
Aliens. wasn't that a plan? Aliens?
No.
Oh, damn.
You know why you thought that?
Aliens.
Aliens implanted that thought into your brain.
Okay, go on. Who is Bob Lazar? Bob Lazarus. Bob Lazar.
I don't know.
Wait, isn't
No,
that...
I'm joking. I didn't know anything about him, really. Until I remember I heard his name. But I watched that documentary today.
Which one?
It's on Netflix now. So it's a bit of a weird documentary, to be honest, because it sounds bad, but the filmmaker didn't know. It seems like he's a bit like he's an amateur. A little bit. Like
How did he get funding?
I'm not
Knows
they
the
must
right
have.
people.
I'm not sure, but to be on Netflix, it's got to be a bit of a process. You have to plan it before, right?
100%. Like you gotta secure funding, you gotta everything, the whole shebang.
Because it's
Every film is a mini startup company. I just made that up, but I assume every production is a startup company. You gotta find new producers.
each new film. Whatever.
Each
kind of.
Yeah.
But I always thought what it would take to get... Because if you make a documentary good enough, they'll put it on Netflix, for sure. Right? If you make a sick documentary...
Well, if the rights are exclusive with... Yeah, okay, yeah, yes.
Because then
Yeah,
the
if I
companies
had-
will be like, yeah, hell yeah, we want
We
this
can make
on
it
Netflix.
easier. We can
Yeah.
do... You've ever done...
But Netflix want everything on there now.
They want
Yeah.
as much as they can.
Yeah.
Expand their catalog.
Yeah.
Have
as
you
long as it's a
ever-
certain quality?
Have you ever done improv comedy?
No.
So
Have you?
yeah, I took 2 years of classes.
No way. Improv comedy classes.
Yeah, why do you think I'm so funny?
Now it beats me. What happened?
Why aren't you funny?
What happened?
So basically,
Did you pass the class?
yes, one of the main rules in improv is you never, when someone gives you a piece of string to hang yourself with, you never say, I'm not going to work with that. What are you on about? Or try to change it. Like if someone says, here's a carrot. What are you going to do? You don't say, oh, John, where are you? And try to shift it completely. You go,
Yeah.
oh,
you run
here's
with
the
it. Yeah,
carrot.
obviously.
Here's the carrot. And I'm going to do
Use it
something
somewhere.
with it.
Yeah.
You
Of
always.
course.
So it's like, yes.
I never knew you did this.
And so,
But
yeah.
comedy, improv or improv comedy specifically?
Improv comedy specifically.
Jeez, that's hard.
Yeah, I worked with the teacher. She studied with she worked with like some of the big comedy comedians
That's cool.
in LA. Upright.
I'm
Citizens
interested. Like
Brigade.
some of the comedians who really like just run off and do their own improv is impressive. That's really impressive. Like real comedy.
Yeah.
I like that.
No, improv shows are the best.
But it's different. You know that people that do stand-up comedy, the difference between that and just funny people
Yeah.
is huge, because some stand-up comedians are just like actors, basically. Like they get up,
they memorize the
rehearse so much.
thing, and
yeah.
they get the energy. They're writers.
yeah,
They're writer actors.
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Not
let's-
so much directors. No, but the thing about improv that's amazing is you do have your funny people. But what I've noticed in that class is it doesn't take much to just relax and be funny. Like it's
struggle.
imagination.
I'd struggle with this stuff.
We should check out the improv here in Dubai, see what it's like. If it's any good,
But that's not.
we should take classes.
No. My worst nightmare. I hate it.
That's why you have to do it.
All right. Ugh.
Let's do it.
All right.
Seriously. You said it live on
I'd
radio,
struggle.
TV, internet.
Right. Yeah. I'd struggle. I did drama class and that was difficult. I struggle with it, but it was
We could do the classes. We don't have to perform in front of everyone.
perform. All right,
Oh, yeah.
aliens.
So the reason why I brought up the improv thing is from now on, inshallah, this is like from now on, if you bring a suggestion up, I'm not going to try to dissect it and say, oh, it depends. I'm going to bring it down to yes, no, and choose one.
No.
Unless I want to dissect it.
No.
Because
the dissecting's the fun bit.
Okay, fine.
No?
No,
Scrap the idea already.
No, I like... the idea's ruined. See, you would suck at improv.
I'll tell you. No, but that... It's different things, though.
No,
we're
I'm
talking
joking.
about.
Go
We're
on.
talking about different
Aliens.
things. All right.
Bob
I want to
Lazar.
do two things. Okay, this is... We kind of decided on something.
Mm-hmm.
And I like this idea. Let's go over this now. Firstly, keep aliens in the back of your mind. Keep it on the noteboard. All right?
Yes.
We'll come back to this.
Aliens in capital letters.
On the whiteboard right now.
A-L-Y-E-N-S. Aliens.
Exactly. Perfect. So... on the whiteboard, keep aliens there. But let's go into something beforehand then. We talked about doing something each episode. That's too difficult to decide now. When we'll do the episode, we'll make up a game. We'll make up a thing.
Exactly. Oh, and remember, like, subscribe, and share. Because literally, you guys listening are our only hope to ever make money out of this. And if you don't
sad.
subscribe, and share,
So sad.
we're just going to be pumping these out nonstop.
So depressing.
And we're going to be the only ones sharing it. And how sad would that be?
This is horrible. this is a horrible sell. I don't like this one bit.
No, but...
This is a used car salesman sell.
Yeah.
This is a door-to-door Tupperware. This is a plastic Tupperware sell.
Asking for help always sucks for everyone involved.
I
The people you're asking help, the person asking help, no one wants to ask
I
help.
would rather not
But-
have anybody listen and not ask for help.
Mm.
I don't want to be like...
You mean you'd rather just not do anything?
No, I'd rather make them, us listen to them, have like 3 or 4 listeners, than be like, please guys, please. Like, that's the equivalent of like,
What?
get your tits out on YouTube.
What the listeners don't know is that's what we've been doing.
Let's carry on. All right, this is my idea. We'll come up with something each time. The last time was fun. The game thing.
Inventions.
Inventions, whatever.
It's
This time I have one.
unposted secret episode, by the way. That if you subscribe, like, and share,
You get sent it to
you
your
get
email.
yes, there are some special episodes that are just above PG-13 that you'll get access to if you donate and pay a lot.
Donate and pay.
Donate and pay.
Okay, so
Anyways,
this one,
aliens.
I wanna go into 2 things with this one.
Tell me about the
First
aliens,
one.
bro.
First one, I want to go into the whole thing, the situation, explain it a little bit. Then I want to do a second half. Okay? The second half I want to do, assuming that all of this is real, I want that to play out a little bit. Okay? I'll explain why. We'll get into it.
Do it.
So the first thing, this is the first I've seen of it. He has the documentary that came out on Netflix. I watched that first. Then he went onto a rival podcast.
Yes.
The Joe Rogan Experience, one of our competitors.
The Joe Rogan shits experience.
I think it's called Experience.
Shit experience. Okay.
But yeah, so he went on to one of our rival podcasts.
I like him. He's
Thanks.
got a nice shiny head.
And it was super interesting. Very interesting.
Tell me about him.
Because it doesn't seem like he's lying about it all. And he did a polygraph test. And I don't think it genuinely seems like he doesn't want to be confronted about it too much. and
Carl
stuff.
Jung invented the polygraph test.
Did he now?
I think so.
What
but
else
no,
did he
no,
do? We'll do a Carl Jung episode soon.
Oh
Because
my God.
I wanted you to just
just get it out of your system.
Yeah, just
No, but no, please.
projectile
It's
all of this.
been a while, and I still don't know what Bob
So
Lazar.
he worked at... Is that his name? Yeah, Bob Lazar. So he worked at a place near Area 51.
Roswell.
Well, I can't... It was like It was like
Area 52.
E21 or something. No, it was like right next to it.
Okay.
It was like something.
I'll let you go. I won't interrupt. I'm very good at interrupting.
This isn't a good pitch, but you should listen to the episode he did on the other podcast, on the Joe Rogan podcast.
We can
because
name him. He's cool.
I wasn't...
I mean,
I
he just
forgot.
needs more listeners
So, I know. We'll boost him.
for free.
But yeah, it was interesting. So there was a few things. I've got a few points about it, which I was watching, and it's like everything on the surface is fine, whatever. But when you actually look at things and you're looking out for stuff, it's interesting to see how people respond about things. So, and I'm sure when I was watching the Joe Rogan kind of, because the documentary is so like you can do whatever you want. Floofy. You never really know what you're getting.
It's censored. It's edited.
Yeah. So I'm sure he was testing him a little bit with questions that are. It's a weird.
Anyone
way to think
watching
about it.
would have asked.
No, it's a weird way to think about it. But if you're questioning somebody like that, there's certain things which should be easy to answer if you've been in that situation. That should be, as soon as you're asked the question, boom, 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 you can get the answer out, and it's like seamless. You shouldn't have to think about it so much, right? So you'll think about, and even basic stuff, you can go into the complexity.
What did
of
it feel
stuff.
like when they used lube and put fingers up your ass? The aliens, I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Answer straight away.
Yeah. So like, what was the feeling like? Was it? Did you tense up?
Yeah. Was there cock?
Yeah. So everything should be seamless. Not with the fingers.
Yes,
with the
question
Okay.
and answer.
So, and that was for me, that was one of the things. And there was a few points, and this is why it's also really, it was super interesting for me. Not just the fact of what he was talking about, we'll get into that afterwards, but the response and small things where you're like, oh shit, that might have been the slip up, you know?
Yeah.
Small things like, oh, is that it? There was one part in the podcast that he was like, oh, I can't remember now. And he like, he said he had a migraine, and they said he had a migraine before he went on the show and everything. And you're like, as soon as he slips up, that's the thing. As soon as he slips up at all, people jump on it like, oh, fuck, maybe that's the thing. But then you get through that bit and you're like, oh, okay, that's not it. Like it was a natural thing. And each of the things that you're like, oh, fuck, maybe he just slipped up. It kind of seems normal.
Yeah.
But
When it's not, I think it's supernatural when someone is super natural, not supernatural. I think it's super common when someone comes out with an outlandish view. The responsibility is on them. You know, everyone is gonna. Yeah, not to only prove it, but like everyone will find fault with you.
Yeah,
as much as they can.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is.
And that's the thing. This guy's complaining. He doesn't really want to be in the spotlight or anything.
It's like how you don't believe that looking at the sun.
It's difficult. And you know what? Oh my god, we'll get into that afterwards as well for sure.
If we have time.
But it is a difficult bit because imagine that it is real. All this stuff he's saying, because it's
what is his stuff?
Oh, he said he worked there. There was I just assumed you knew. So he said that he was one of the guys working on the technology that they have at Area 51. So there's different teams of people, none of them allowed to. So you have a buddy system. You're allowed to talk to the one guy that you're assigned to, and nobody else in any other thing. So they have these alien spacecrafts. 2 people working and going in to look at each of the different things on the alien spacecraft, but not allowed to talk to anybody else on any of the different things. So his specific thing was supposedly the propulsion systems that the alien spacecraft uses.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, it's crazy. And this is the weird thing, right?
Why? Okay. 2 questions. Let's just go into it, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Why isn't he killed? If it's
because
true,
early on, I've got to go on. Go ask the second question if you want.
Why hasn't he been gagged yet? Or like why?
That's the first question.
Yeah, like why hasn't he been shot? Yeah, shut up. Yeah, exactly. And the second one is, holy fuck. I guess it's not a question. It's just like what he's saying that he.
Oh, there's a lot though. That's the start of it.
Stuff.
Okay, this is the other bit that's weird for me. I'll answer your question. Let me answer the question first. I'll say the bit that's weird for me as well. The reason, apparently, they go into that a little bit. Earlier on, he did an interview, silhouette, masked voice, blah, blah, blah. Then he started getting worried about it and came out big with stuff. Because he's like, went out on the news and was like, if anything happens to me, this is like my backup plan.
Yeah.
This is my, what'd you call it?
Yeah, my...
that safety word. Net or whatever.
Yeah,
this
word.
is like my proof or whatever. So he came out and openly said, like, if I get killed, this is my insurance policy.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was this big internet conspiracy that was going around like 2018, I think, that said, or like a bit earlier than 2018, because they said the next year Obama is going to reveal that aliens have made contact.
Yeah, I remember. And then he made a joke of it.
Yeah, I made a joke of it. And I really thought at the end of the year that he was going to know.
So this is the thing, right? So when you get into stuff, firstly, this is where it gets a bit weird. I'm not super big free conspiracy guy. I don't think. Like I'm not. I'm
I
not easily
enjoy.
sold.
I'm not
There's-
easily sold.
there's a
I
few
enjoy
things.
looking at them,
I enjoy
reading
the
the
idea of, like,
theories.
of like considering stuff.
Yeah, because
But
it's fun.
the
It's
problem
fun
is
to imagine there's more.
once they're bulked into that, then you're fucked. If you're in
What do
the
you mean?
if you're in the balloon of conspiracy theories, you're done. Yeah, people make a joke of it.
Like if you
forever.
go into the rabbit hole too deep.
No,
and like,
no. If you are part of a conspiracy theory, quote conspiracy theory.
Or like if you somehow.
No. If the idea, if that thing like aliens at Roswell or whatever is part of the balloon of conspiracy theories, even if one of those things in this balloon of quote conspiracy theories might be right, and it's like very, very plausible that it's right, if it's in the balloon of conspiracy theories, once you go into one of them and say, fuck, maybe this is a real thing, you're in with all of the rest of them.
It's like they
And you're
say. It's like they say. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Mm.
You've
Yeah.
heard of that saying?
Yeah.
So that
But-
it's just that. It's just that
Yeah.
feeling of like you're looped in with all of these. Yeah.
All
Okay.
of the- 'cause
Continue.
there are some
continue.
crazy ones, but
Continue.
this is a crazy one. So anyway, the
Let's
thing
do
is
this
when-
hard hitting. Let's go facts.
So
facts, facts.
okay. So the thing is, when he was pressed with this stuff, the response was really interesting for me. He clearly knows a lot about physics, propulsion, his side of stuff, which he obviously knows a lot about. And
Does
has
he
researched a lot.
sound like an engineer? Does he sound like he actually knows his stuff, or does he sound like someone who's really?
He talks about it easily. That's what I'll say about it. He talks about things that you or I now I would like to go into. But I'd like to really go into his ideas of what he's talking, because that for me is as interesting. There's two parts for me which are really, really interesting with this. But he talks about it, whether he's talked about it enough or researched it for his whole life, whatever the reason,
But
he
he's
talks about these ideas
confidently.
very fluidly. Like he'll get asked about something. And then the good thing, I like that he did this. Joe Rogan on the podcast was like asking questions that are a little bit weird. Like, what does it look like when you walk into the facility? And weird stuff that you would only know fluidly.
If
And
you
he
live.
talks about it if you actually, have been there and done all this stuff. Or like, what's the process to be able to get there? And he says, okay, I get in the plane and and they black out the windows and all this kind of stuff. And he also
He
like,
didn't live on site.
no. But there's a load of weird, like there's a load of questions like that.
Wouldn't
are a lot
that
different.
be?
More
Don't you think?
convenient.
No, but no. I mean, wouldn't a contractor live on site at least 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off? Heck, months on, months off. Near the site, he's flown in.
Mm. I don't know, but I don't know. If
But I
he'd
mean,
been-
you know,
I
you've
don't know
done
if
you've
he-
done contracting jobs.
I don't know.
I've done
He went there on the.
contracting jobs. You get if I
No, it might have been. It might have been. I'm not.
okay,
it might have been that.
true.
It
fair
just
enough.
came in. I don't know.
It's
I'm
one of
not
the
sure.
things he said. Okay,
Yeah, but there was a lot of things which, like,
Listen.
which I got confident by. To be honest,
I'd like to buy into it already from what I know, because why the fuck not? Why don't we just go with the story as long as possible?
So there's a few different things. He wasn't told that, like, he was told enough, and he, like, apparently was told.
He saw it. He worked on it.
And he said one time that he went on the UFO, and he explained, the way he explained stuff was insane. And the thing is, he has the, like, that fluidity he brings into the science side of stuff very neatly. Like, you listen to him, and even, so this is something I was going to go into. There's two parts of it. One of them is the stuff that he was talking about in itself is crazy. And I think they've kind of gone into a little bit of science fiction stuff anyway. But the idea of it, and when he started talking about it, the idea of it is itself, if he was to have worked on that, is pretty crazy. So he's talking about basically antimatter reactors
Okay.
to propel this spaceship. And the way he was talking about it was apparently the thing that him and his partner were working on was this small dome somehow. Apparently the guy before him that was working there tried to cut it open with like a whatever laser, one of these like crazy laser things, and died from whatever happened. And they have like a bunch of different ones that they got to work on and get to look into and stuff. Apparently he went near it. When he tried to get closer to this ball, like his partner told him, okay, try to touch the ball. The closer he got, the harder the gravitational pull away, like to pull his hands away was.
So it repelled him the closer he got.
Yeah, this was the reactor that he was talking about, and he said it starts from like 8 different ways. They can control it, they can fly it, blah blah blah. This is the part I was talking about, by the way. This is me saying, hypothetically, dive into the fact, like assume it's real, and dive into the ideas of what he's talking about.
Yes, that's what I'm
interesting.
willing to do.
Yeah, okay, so because that's the thing which I could tell in the all these things through the documentary and the interview or whatever he did, the podcast he did. He was just like, okay, forget the fact of trying to like fault me, just go like ask me about the research, ask me about that, which for me was like, that's super interesting when he started going into it, because whether he didn't seem kooky though. He seemed like he was just like, you'll read it, look at it eventually.
I think I'm gonna look into it, but
but it's really interesting. So he said basically, this is where it gets really interesting for me. We talked the other day about what gravity really is,
Yes.
right? Which you described as not just big objects being weighted down by a force.
their density, yeah,
It's space-time being warped.
yes,
Space being warped by time relatively, right? Or whatever.
no, space time as one constant, as one thing.
Yeah, but you warp space, and the time of that changes, right? Your time it takes to get to some place is different under different weights.
No, so time and space would be considered one constant, whereas matter is another thing. That's why it's called space time is one word.
Matter affects space time then.
Yes, and possibly vice versa.
Okay.
Yes, that's literally what you said.
So then I considered this more today reading this. You said then every piece of matter has its own gravitational pull.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So-
I would assume theoretically, yeah.
So this not the way he described this alien spacecraft or whatever as working is by those reactors literally changing the space-time in front of the aircraft. So you can change
Amazing.
space-time. You change the gravitational pull in front of the object.
Amazing.
So
But then where is it generating the antimatter from? How is it dragging
So this
it
is
in?
the thing. It goes into this whole thing about
Remember when I was telling you about faster than light travel and you were like, oh, but it's stupid. But that's basically the cracking of it. If you can, antimatter is one of the exotic things that people have been trying to understand or pursue, because it's a theoretical thing. Till now, there has been no antimatter proved or discovered, because they worry that if you discover antimatter and matter, it would be like the biggest black hole, the biggest nuke that you could make, because it's two opposing forces, colliding. But if he's saying that somehow they have a stable antimatter field.
So this is the thing. This is what he was saying. He said, and he got really with it. You'll see what I mean. He gets super weird about it. Apparently the FBI were after him. They had a whole big raid of his house, and you can see they actually raided his house. There was shitloads of FBI agents, which don't come there for bullshit reasons, really. So apparently he stole this element 115.
Okay.
Have you heard about it?
No.
This is what they call unobtainium is supposedly one specific matter, antimatter, right?
So unobtainium is an Avatar,
Avatar.
the movie.
Oh.
That's
So it's actually supposed to be a...
That's the matter they made. And then unobtainium is also copy, or what do you call it when you get not copyright, well, it's licensed or is patented by the Oakley company. It's what they use for their glasses.
So maybe it's a bit of a joke thing that they're running with this. But anyway,
but the whole idea, the whole term unobtainium is it's this object or it's this material that's so rare and it has exotic properties. That's what unobtainium generally means, and it's in comics.
So this 115, for a long time they were saying, oh, it's not a element or whatever. It's not a thing that we know of. He's full of shit, basically. It's debunked because this element 115, which he says was the fuel for the antimatter reactor. So to run the antimatter reactor, he says uses element 115, which is stabilized.
I'm
Go
gonna
on.
interrupt now.
Go on.
Because I think I have a good spidey sense for shit,
Mm-hmm.
for bullshit. Because I'm really good
Yeah.
at spouting bullshit. And I will flat out eat my words. I bet you he's a crackpot and a joke.
Why?
Just it's first of all, right? There's these specific bullet points
Okay.
of things that are like either doubtful science or things you have to look out for, and one of them is usually jargon. The moment you have like specific weird terms that are limited only to the industry or to the field, watch out. You know, like just like if you can't understand it quick,
Like this.
like
115
like
element
it's
thing.
getting into like you know, but like
that one.
I will watch all of it.
Okay, but that's the kind of thing that you want to look out for.
This is the kind of things you want to
The-
look out for. Yeah. As a,
So they found the element.
go on.
The element is actually something that now they've
Say they've
been
discovered.
able to like make somehow super expensive, super rare, super crazy, whatever, called moscovium.
Yes, this is a recent thing.
Yeah. So this is the element that he was talking about.
MUSCOVIUM.
MOSCOVIUM.
Mos-
Atomic number 115.
okay.
So now they found that the element is actually an element
element.
that's super rare, super difficult to get.
Okay.
So the thing that he said is the fuel for the antimatter.
And he was saying this before it was discovered.
long time before.
Okay.
When he first came out with stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
let's continue.
99% sure that
Yeah,
that's
no,
what he was
let's
saying.
continue. Okay.
So I'm not sure what it is exactly, but supposedly that element specifically is I don't know the specifics of it.
Yeah.
Supposedly is the one
the fuel to create
fuel to
the
run
antimatter drive.
antimatter reactor, but also has a way of changing gravitational
Okay.
pull between it. So who knows? Maybe there's a way that you can use that and it's enriched, whatever it's called, 115, element 115.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe there is a way to harness the energy from that to literally warp time in front of you.
All right.
Maybe.
Fine. What's next about this guy? Claims are one thing. Saying I found this or I saw this and then it gets created is one thing. Okay. What's the next steps? What does
problem is
what does he want? He wants the U.S. government.
Honestly, the crazy thing is
He wants people to believe him. He wants.
No, this is the crazy thing.
He wants the technology to
all
be
these
shared.
things, and obviously I'm like,
Paraphrasing.
no, I'm like seems like I'm on his side a little bit or whatever.
No.
But
The
the thing is,
I actually
the thing is, he genuinely seems like he doesn't want a part of any of it. People go and seek him out and really pry and stuff. Like the Joe Rogan thing, he seemed like he didn't give a shit. Like he didn't want to really be like. If he's asked about stuff, he's like strangely fluid about how he comes off with things.
Yeah,
but he doesn't really want to be. He
sold-
doesn't want to be the UFO guy.
Well, he is the UFO.
Now
guy.
he is for sure, 100%.
There's no going back on
But,
it.
the
like,
thing is, the other thing is, if he wasn't told that much information about it, maybe this is something I was thinking the whole time. Maybe someone like Russia have that element, have the technology already, way back when or whatever, realize maybe it's dangerous to use, whatever it is, and we're flying, crashed a plane. Somehow US got a hold of this technology and don't want these people to know what's going on, and they're just running off information from other countries. Like maybe the technology that he doesn't know about is so extreme. Like it's really, really extreme, obviously.
I don't follow you. You're saying that what he thinks is alien technology might be just foreign technology?
Yeah.
Foreign being Russian?
Yeah. Or, yeah.
Okay.
Seems extreme. And he said like when he went in the spaceship, that was interesting as well. He said there's no edges. I remember we said a few episodes, it was like a bullshit thing we said.
Interesting.
He said everything looks like
Manufactured
melted.
as...
No, like melted and seamless. Like there's no link, there's no seams or anything. Everything's like just melted in, which is quite interesting. And he was asked like, "Oh, describe what it's like in there and stuff." And he did seem like he described it pretty well, but
Still hard to imagine a bit.
he said it was like it just looks like you don't
looks
understand
alien.
what it is.
It looks alien.
Yeah, it looks alien, basically.
No, I'm not trying to be funny because it would be if another civilization, intelligent one.
So the difficult thing is for like imagine like we're like playing this on his side or whatever, but like to humor it or whatever.
Yeah, it's completely.
Imagine for a second if you were in that position, you were actually a very intelligent scientist or like he's a propulsion specialist science or whatever. Like seems like he knows quite a bit about it, but imagine you were like really experienced in that. You got this dream job, like the highest level of government going and doing this stuff. And then you realize all this, and you're like, for me, I know for sure, I'd be like, fuck, I have to tell people about it. Like, if I had a job like that, I'd be like, Issa, listen, I know some shit here. Like,
this is the problem probably with people like us, like you and me actually specifically, is that you say for you, it would be a matter of, I have to tell someone. For me, it would not be a matter of having to tell someone, but I would feel compelled to ask the right questions or collect information and leak 100%. It if I feel like
people should know.
No, people should know, but like if I feel like, yo, you guys have this right now and what you're doing is experimenting on it to bomb it or to like, you know, like the whole like gung-ho Americans destroy it before understanding it, you know? I would just basically like, it almost like if I was the one in charge, I would like people like me on the team. If that makes any sense, because we would try.
They don't want people like you on the team.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah, they would because ask too many questions and you know just follow orders. Yeah. But people who follow orders,
the thing is though,
are not scientists. If that makes any sense,
he said that's one of the things they struggle because you have to like he said that between them they were kind of like really frustrated by all of them being scientists and wanting to go and talk to people and find out and like research
work together,
stuff. R&D. They said that's something they all complain about. They all really kind of pissed off about, whatever. But
and it's so funny that war game theory or probability theory or whatever, like war games. Have you heard of war games?
No.
Or like I forgot what they're called. Like, I don't know where they teach you this in America. Maybe military school, but there's a whole section of mathematics and probability and strategic analysis of wars and so on, where they teach you all of these like prisoner's dilemma, and they just give you all of these ethical, like moral thought experiments, and you have people really study these things, and so they possibly theorize the best way to have people work on something knowing the least possible on the thing they're working on. So, and they employed it. They're like, okay, this is the best theory we have from like 50 people going to this uni in the 80s. Let's employ protocol A because we found this thing. Like initiate protocol A. Find all the best people, have them buddy, and like you know. So from his side, he only possibly knows what he knows. Like I have a buddy, and that's all we know. And for his head, it's just keep us all separated. But there might be levels and levels and levels of removed data. For example, like the thing he might be working on might be the American emulation of what is actually an alien thing. And then the reason they're having him work on it is to see if the foreigners or like any other country gets what they would analyze.
But that's
and
the thing,
understand.
right? There's like so many different possibilities of what it could be actually doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, he said
I don't know.
Repeatedly, it was reverse engineering.
But this is.
But with that, if like again hypothetically, if he's right, that technology would change everything, right? 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Well, it would. But
so,
if these aliens crashed here, and for example, and they're using Moscovium, for example.
I like you got the terms down and stuff already.
Yeah, and we have rare and we have a rare supply of it, and we're only artificially creating a bit of it, and they come from a Moscovian-rich planet or solar system or whatever. Well, we wouldn't have a chance of replicating it unless we can crack the antimatter thing in another way. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? If the element is rare for us, we can't really use it.
I had a crazy thought earlier. This is again, it's a weird thing, very vague, very bullshitty. We talked about, I don't know if this is actually how it works. This is like what we assume how it works, but antimatter we assume is the opposite of all matter, that eats it and like that destroys it, and then it destroys itself again at the same time.
So I actually don't know anything about antimatter anymore. I remember knowing something like briefly when I watched all of these videos on it and tried to understand it, but it just sounds like antimatter. But like,
so what I look into today,
what do you know? Yes.
So
what
this
did
is
you
this
watch
is
and
what
understand?
I looked into a little bit, but the most I could. This is like where it weirded me out a little bit. I'll try and explain the best I can. From what I gathered, like what I could understand, the antimatter is the exact opposite charge or whatever, exact opposite of matter itself, right? So you have whatever matter there is.
You can have like a sodium atom with a positive
I don't know if it
proton and a
is-
negative electron, but then you would have an antimatter sodium thing, which is negative
Yeah, or whatever,
proton and a
whatever it
positive
is.
electron.
But I'm not sure if it's exactly in the same configuration. But anyway,
Okay.
we said about matter, electrons or matter going in and out of existence as far as we know, electrons.
Electrons, yeah.
But those,
Or possibly
the
all of them.
antimatter
Yeah.
supposedly destroys, and then the matter destroys the antimatter again constantly, right? That's why it supposedly jumps in and out of whatever, like visual, you can't see it.
Oh.
So
So
is what-
antimatter is super theoretical that they're saying that that's the reason why things look like a particle or a wave at that fundamental level. They're saying the reason why quantum particles behave so weird is because they keep destroying and
they have
creating
a evil twin brother that eats it and then
and
comes
then
back each time.
generates. It's
So
like a
this is
phoenix.
my crazy
it's like a
thought,
phoenix.
Because
Always.
we don't understand, like, dimension's also a vague term that we can use for stuff. But what if there was an exact opposite dimension that we have that's constantly vanish, come back, vanish, come back, vanish, come back?
I don't follow that. Sorry.
So the antimatter supposedly is destroying, and then matter destroys antimatter again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if any of this is right, but
The
I'm
actual
just
thing.
saying
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
This is a nice idea.
Yeah.
So the dimension of antimatter
Okay.
might be an exact opposite dimension of matter that we have, and constantly being destroyed and recreated in the same
Well,
format.
but so the thing why I just don't follow what you're saying is like, or like why I'm like, okay, wait, criticism is, wouldn't that mean that we or whatever we are is constantly being destroyed and created as well?
Yeah,
Which it's not.
Why?
Or at least
Why not?
our perception of it is not.
our perception isn't, but what do we? That's just like visually. What are you gonna see?
Yeah, if it's happening, yeah, like thousands of millions of
What
millions
if
of times.
like
but
if you could, like you wouldn't visually be able to see. You can't visually see
the quantum
matter
particles
being,
full stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
And imagine there was a way to stop them
That
being
phasing.
destroyed, or the phasing. Things might look different. We might look like we move slow. It's like slowing down frame rate by half in a video, maybe.
Yeah.
All that stuff that's being destroyed is like constantly there. But so the thing I was thinking is, you're basically, if that was like, again, this is a super bullshit vague idea, like thought experiment.
Yeah.
If it is harnessing power of antimatter, you're taking energy from the opposite dimension.
Yes. The infra world. The other, yeah. Poor other dimension.
Poor other dimension. Getting cheated out of it.
Yeah,
And
but
what
no,
if-
or sure, getting
so-
cheated out
so-
of it. If anything, for all you know from the other dimension, you're actually destroying it.
That's what I mean. So imagine we are taking, this is also a crazy thought about it, but if you could take a huge amount of antimatter from another dimension, again, this is complete bullshit. I have to say that over and over again.
Yeah.
If you could take a huge amount of power in a really short amount of time from another dimension, what if you eat up something the size of the sun's power in a short amount of time
And release it here.
and release it somehow?
Yeah. That's why I was saying, like, from the little I do know, that the experiments with antimatter could possibly be disastrous, because you could just like black hole.
Yeah, done. Yeah, some weird shit could go on. But how this is the thing, right? If you had the power of that information, that's a, like, say there was some way to, if it was that kind of thing, because that's not going to be the actual thing. It's just
even
a nice
if it
idea.
is, even if it
that's the
actually
thing, but
is, it's
how
all
much-
it's all theoretical.
Obviously, but say you had that, like, say that thing is real that he's talking about, right? Again, hypothetically,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
real. You have that information. How much weirder could it get that you don't tell people? Like, how weird can it get? That, like, the thing we talked about there of having literally an opposite dimension and harnessing
I'll
power.
tell you, for example,
Can it get weirder?
I'll tell you, like, maybe it's a bit extreme, but like,
No,
for
go
example,
extreme.
if I knew that the world will end in 2 years, I don't think I'll tell people.
No, that's different though.
But it's
I
the
think.
same thing. It's such a mind-numbing difference in reality, right?
Yeah, but
To
that's
suddenly
different.
say,
There's difference though, because there's a difference between, like, that's very, like, 2 years negative, done. This is potentially progression of understanding.
oh, you have to live with
everything.
it. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because
For
to me-
example, if one of the things comes in to me, like if I get the knowledge, for example, that 1 in 2 humans not only has alien DNA, but if exposed to the right rock, will reveal their real features, and they might kill you, I might tell people that, like, yo, you might be an alien.
Yeah,
Check the rock,
don't die from this weird.
or like check the rock, but like,
apparently they're like 3 foot tall, by the way. So
oh
it's not
yeah,
a
that
lot,
he knows the details.
Yeah, he says the chair and everything, the whole system is built for, like, small people,
But
which is why he
remember,
says that it's not a foreign thing. It's like 3 foot chair, tiny, small roof,
ooh, that's creepy.
and nothing
You,
in there.
you want to know why that gave me?
Goosebumps.
Do you know why?
Why?
You know what the Abrahamic faith is, right? So the Abrahamic faith is the 3 monotheistic religions. Abrahamic because it's all based on Prophet Abraham, who is the first prophet of Judaism, Jews. And then from that we got Christianity, and from Christianity, or like around that time onwards, we got Islam. So the 3 Abrahamic faiths, the main ones. Believe in one God. That's the main big thing. All of them have a prophecy of Gog and Magog. And in Islam, they say that in Islam, one of the prophecies, or one of the things that's talked about regarding Gog and Magog, is that there will be a split on the earth. This is just before the end of the days. Like, it's not happened during judgment days, but like just before the apocalypse. Apparently a bit of earth will split, and you will have these short, smooth-skinned humanoid creatures come, and they will fight each other. Gog and Magog will fight each other. Gog is one tribe, Magog's another tribe, or something. Juj were Majuj in Arabic, and you see in the the Judeo-Christian faiths, it's called Gog and Magog. Anyways, they fight, and they're short and they're small, and their war is what ravages the earth. So every time I hear about, that's why, like, for me, whenever, I'm Muslim and I'm quite religious, and as much as I like to be rational minded and scientific, for me it's kind of fun to always find things or like facts and try to fit them into a Muslim mindscape.
Yeah, I know
For
what you
example, like finding so that's just cool, because like
But across the board, like, a lot of people do that and try to fit in whether
The
it's
worldviews
which
into-
way. No, but it's whether a lot of people do it whether it's where religion came from or if it fits into religion, one or the other. They're
Yes.
opposite ways, but it's whether religion started because of this or because this.
there's something
fits into
called
this, whatever.
NOMA. Have you heard of it?
No.
NOMA. Non-overlapping magisterial. I forgot the A. It's like
Association.
association or something, like arbitration. Basically, it's a very elegant theory about how to reconcile religion and science. And they say, or the theory states, that what is science should be kept to science, and what is religion should be kept to religion. For religion, you use theology, and for science, you use rational thinking, empiricism, observational methods, experimental methods, they do not and should not overlap, because they can't. Because if you're a religious person without a scientific background and you're trying to explain your religious phenomena using science, but you don't completely understand science, you're going to fall flat. And if you're a religious person and you're also trying to disprove, if you're a scientific person or a scientist and you're trying to disprove religion and say atheism, yay, but you don't know much about religion because you're not really religious, you're also going to fall flat. So they really don't overlap. Like,
so that's
it's a very
interesting
elegant.
because, but the thing is, this is the strange part about it. It's the same thing we were talking about the other day of communism. Like one extreme works, the other extreme works.
It's the
For
same
me,
thing
my
almost,
other-
unfortunately.
yeah.
But I feel like
But my view
communism
is the
eats it.
opposite of that, of what you just said. For me, it's like everything 100% meshed also is like
feasible. Yes, ideally. But I guess for the NOMA thing, the idea of the whole like
not to mix. Keep
no.
it
I
safe.
think I think the whole idea of NOMA is like, if we can teach people or kids in high school NOMA, then we would have less pointless debates for a while. And then you can have the people who do want to reconcile it really, and make one unified theory that is not kooky and that works for everyone involved. It involves scientific proofs and it involves religious proofs. You want to, example, like, you want to see what hell's like, you want to see what paradise is like, meditate on this for 5 minutes. And you see it and you're like, oh, I'm a believer now. You know, somehow there was a scientific method in proving religion. Like, for example, theology and everything will have its own explanations for why it's called belief or why it's called faith, and you just have to believe. That's another thing. But yeah. Jinx.
I don't know. It's difficult.
Let's push the aliens thing. Let's talk about.
Okay.
What
I have
else?
a couple.
What else?
I have a couple. I had a thought before I didn't ask you about. Two things then. One, there's no doubt there is some kind of alien life form somewhere, right? 100%.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to
it's-
say. I forgot what I was watching, but probability wise, yeah,
You're like 99.9 recurring.
you would expect it, right?
Yeah. But the weird thing is, I try to tell people before as well, because everyone used to say,
They might just be really far.
no, forget really far. Like you said the other day, it can't be somebody species more intelligent than us, because they would have got to us. But for me, I'm
Like
not
sufficient advanced enough. Like they haven't
sufficient.
yet.
But
Like basically
still,
they haven't yet.
We talk the
If
time,
they exist, they haven't come yet.
yeah,
If they want to see
yeah.
us, that's what I mean.
Yeah. But it's difficult to travel that far. It's not easy. They could be way more intelligent than us, especially with other things. Like I said to you, like I always think of like human development as like, imagine there's like a circle and there's every single degree on the circle, and you could go 0.000001 degree off, and we decided to take that path as humanity. We decided to explore,
And the universe is
technology
ever
and things.
expanding as well.
But we decided to go with 0.0001 whatever degree, and we keep going that direction. Like we keep developing technology, blah, blah, blah. If there was like 1 degree off or 2 degrees off, we could be like, we don't understand how fragile it is, that how quickly things can change. If we decided to look into like, if we decided that our thing, instead of doing what we're doing now, was something else, I don't know.
I understand what you're saying. I definitely understand what you're saying.
What's it called? Like I can't even.
Like if we
think of the word.
developed in another way.
Develop like
Instead of agriculture, we decided it would be nice to paint forever. And civilization, mentally, cognitively.
yeah. What's the
This is charades now. Meditation, spiritually.
spiritual? Like if we went in a spiritual direction,
Mm-hmm.
we would be way different as a civilization. No.
It's interesting. Sometimes I try to think about it all and like the consciousness stuff. This sounds super like stonery. Sometimes I try to think about it all. But like, what if that whole spirituality and meditation and stuff like in Interstellar, right? They said that love is the fifth dimension, right? Or something like that. Like love is
Something like that.
the solution to gravity. They're saying that like to fix general relativity or special relativity and quantum electrodynamics is love, which is consciousness, love, all of that. What if like it is that? What if it is literally this aspect of
Yeah.
because there is a point where instincts is one thing, a mother's instincts for her kids and memories and all of that. But you have some people who can enter a room and they can feel the mood. They really feel the mood of the room. They
I
feel
think
when
that's
someone...
more just people, and not just people, but it's just...
And then also like surgeons, for example, are very intuitive. Heart surgeons, brain surgeons. They really rely on their intuition to guess what
They have to.
someone's diagnosis is. A very educated guess, but a guess nonetheless.
Just experience, though, I think.
I guess what I'm trying to say is like, what if all of the what if what we think is the rational method of science and the experimental method, is good, dandy, fine. It's going to help us expand into the solar system, get us to Mars. But this is all external from the human
Experience.
Yeah, it's external out of our body,
Yeah.
out of our mind.
Yeah.
What if going internally by meditating, by praying, whatever, is the other direction?
Yeah.
And that there is a certain kind of technology or experimentation that can be done that way. And actually, people have been using the scientific method in the interior world since like the 60s, people researching meditators and so on and seeing their gamma rays or their alpha rays or whatever of their brain, the delta mind states. They have been experimenting with that. But what they've been doing is experimenting or observing actual meditators instead of
Trying it.
not only just trying it, but instead of like saying, or instead of propagating, and it's hard, I guess. It's hard to tell someone.
Well, think of it as a new thing.
Yeah, like a real paradigm shift and like a new age, if that makes any sense. Because new age has been corrupted completely. New age now is buy a crystal, bless your cat, sage the house, dress in yoga pants. But what if there is a new age where we can have like, I don't know, like more people willing to discuss like this and be like, listen, my aunt used to read her auras and just say, I can see your auras are yellow and you might be sick on your shoulder or whatever. But what if...
I think we're still so far off. Like this might be the thing. This might be the thing in like hundreds of years that we were like, oh fuck. We were
like you said, what if we went spiritually, right? And that's why I imagined it.
So
there's
the thing is now we really don't know. And maybe in a few hundred years we'll be like, look back at us now and we're just the equivalent of bashing over each other over the head with sticks trying to...
Yeah,
we're like caveman for that kind of stuff because we don't know anything really still.
No,
like we
not
try.
Much. We know a lot, but like not enough.
No,
but
and it's just trial and error at the moment, really. I think because everyone kind of has that feeling, right? Of like,
and the human capacity is slow. We want things slow, right? Because if like, remember we were talking about it in one episode.
We want things slow?
I think like I want things fast personally, but I think
everyone does, I think.
No, but I think the reality is we would expect, and we do actually experience change little by little. You don't just suddenly wake up and say, holy fuck, there's Twitter too. I don't understand what it means. Because you see people, you change the user interface of one program, they freak out.
But the thing is how malleable we
you
are.
change the logo of a product,
but
people
we
freak out.
So quickly get used to stuff.
Yeah, we get used to stuff quick, but there are certain things which might be irreversible.
Like for this,
like it might literally make you psychotic.
Oh right, yeah.
Like
maybe
the singularity type thing. You might you might lose 3/4 of the human population.
Yeah. Well, this kind of thing we were
Not
talking about, like
death,
this kind of thing we were talking about, going back to aliens. For me, this is how weird it is. Like how crazy it actually is. If all of that was to be true and all of this like checks out, whatever. Like it may seem like a big thing, and it's probably it would be the biggest thing that we've ever discovered in the past, well, ever really. But we'd get used to it, right? Like it'd be maybe 6 months of like, holy shit, aliens came to see us and this is what they've got and blah blah blah, and we'd be like, oh okay, yeah, we just don't understand what the thing is that they have. It would shake. Actually, no, maybe not. It would shake up a lot.
No. I'm imagining what you're saying.
It would shake a lot up.
You're gonna have so many people forcing the government to destroy.
Really? The way he described it also is really interesting because
Yeah.
he said this is
Where
why.
till now we don't have peace on Earth. People are gonna unite to try to destroy these things, and you think they won't retaliate? If they can, they will.
I don't know.
Because I don't think. Well, we'll see. We're thinking of them as humans as well, like which is.
Oh, yeah. No, okay. So
They might not even.
So
they might be like
oh,
projections.
no, this is my thing, right? So this is what I was going to say before. When you think about alien life forms, whatever, it's like it's things that are so close to us. But why would they be? They if you imagine, we have come from, in our specific environment, we are like come from something so small. Like we've come from a weird place to be in the place we are now. Like it's such a specific thing.
Do you remember Interstellar?
Yeah.
Remember when they interacted with the 5-dimensional beings?
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, these
Waves of light or something."
Yeah, these beings have transcended our 4 dimensions or whatever, and they're 5-dimensional, which means they can interact with space-time. And then they're basically implying that the reason they can interact with space-time is because they solve gravity, which is love. And then they're like, "Oh, actually, they're not even anything special. They're just us. They're like human beings that transcended to love." So like,
yeah, but they wouldn't like our form is weird. That's the thing. Like we think of aliens like just bigger eyes, a bit bigger brain. Like why the hell would they be like that? They would be like weirder to us than smoke. Like if smoke was a thing, like if smoke was,
if they're
like,
past the dimensions we're talking about,
regardless, like why would they be?
Conscious
Why would they be? They wouldn't
smoke.
Why would they be as?
I mean,
close,
I'm just like trying.
Why
to
would
understand.
they be as? Why would they be?
Like us, anthropomorphic.
No, not even like us. Why would they be less weird than a cat or like a lizard? They would be way more weird than a lizard. That a lizard is still from our planet and taken a journey similar to us. They would be so far I assume they'd be so far off of what a lizard is. We can't even grasp what it is.
Yes,
like, why would it be?
no,
why would it look like an animal?
I have to interrupt you and say, I think you might be mistaken, because if their physical form is so different than us that it's smoke-like and not organic, it would mean for me that their consciousness state would be so alien as well.
Yeah,
the way they think and process.
I think so.
And if that's the case, potentially communication might not be an option. I don't see why it should naturally be an option.
But why? It would just, maybe not, probably not. Why would it be?
No,
But why would they, like, we expect them to just come down like ET style and us be like, oh, we mean no harm, and they'll be like, oh, okay, and then just talk to us like
100%. And that's why I was saying that I think people will panic judge to destroy these things as fast as they can.
Destroy the things that are here, or destroy
everything, anything alien, which is what people do regarding refugees. They call them aliens. That's what I'm saying. And
there wouldn't be anything even remotely close to us. We wouldn't be able to get hold of them anyway, but it's a whole different thing. But why would we assume they'd be walking around? Like if our environment changed 10%, how different would we be if it was?
Yeah, very, very.
Like we wouldn't be. We're so.
I mean, maybe not even existing.
Yeah,
most
literally.
likely not existing. Actually,
yeah.
That's what I was trying to tell a friend recently. The whole like precious balance about how things evolved over time. It's like
it's insane. Like we take that
like
for
that
granted.
for me. No, and definitely for granted. But that's like proof of intelligent design. It's either intelligent design or perfect randomness. Like super chaos.
I think the
intelligent design meaning there was like a reason, or like
I don't think
there was a guiding principle.
I don't think there was. But why? That makes us egotistical to think that we're like the final. Oh, like we're on a track.
Yeah, we could be on a track. We could be.
I think we're in a stage now, and we're just like running with it.
What do you mean?
We're on, like at one point we were something. Now we're something else, and eventually we're going to be something else. We don't know what it is.
No, but that's the
I
thing.
think we're just constantly changing.
I feel it's like one of those things again about like if you bring consciousness into the equation, there is no reason for rocks to become conscious, and it's almost like we need to do a whole thing on consciousness. I think.
Yeah,
Let's wrap up.
cool. All right,
Bye. No, I'm joking. All right. This.
you were joking, but not joking.
No. There's so much more to be said, I guess,
Mm.
but we have to wrap up.
All right, finish on this then.
Go on.
I don't know if we did this with Tom. What do you like? Which one of these? Go quick. Yes or no? Aliens in outer space. Yes.
Aliens in our space?
Outer space.
No.
No aliens in anywhere else in the universe.
Mathematically, yes.
But otherwise,
But my feeling is no.
really.
Yeah. My science mind says yes. My magical intuition side says no.
I would. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would almost put my life on it.
Aliens would love hearing that.
Take your life.
Take a life.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys.